Hello everyone and welcome to another Starcraft2 video. For this one we'll continue our AI Arena Gauntlet style tournament of all these Starcraft2 bots. And last we left off in part 11 we had, who was it? Snowbot on a little bit of a streak. Snowbot was able to take out our Master Raven brother and Bombshaker, followed by Sharkbot and Dan the Man 3. So going 3-0. Only one bot has done better than 3-0. We'll see if Snowbot can be the next. And his opponent will be Worthless Bot. So another Zerg by MK Ultra. And you can see Worthless Bot is only about 25 ahead in yellow. So this could definitely go either way. Let's see if there's any information on Worthless Bot. Wow. We got a legit bio here. So we got some reading. Yeah, so another Python bot. So what does it say here? Worthless Bot awakened beneath a sea of demonic debris. By some mistake or misfortune, its cruel amalgamation of discarded bits of code came to exist in this desolate heap. Fortunately for Worthless Bot, it had no capacity to consider its environment or predicament. It had only an obligation to which it was bound. To what it owed this obligation it did not ponder, whether brought here by the malevolence or some unseen creator, or merely by bad luck. It had an obligation to destroy, which it knew well to obey. You see, it was not alone in this wasteland, lurking among the, oh my gosh, the words in this. Detrius? Do not know that word. Lurking among the Detrius were others. Worthless Bot could neither understand nor describe the horror of the creatures prowling beyond this pile, and perhaps that was for the better. All it really knew for sure is that there was potential threats and should most certainly be eliminated at all costs. We got a backstory for this bot. Awesome. Nice bio. Best one so far. All right, so anyways, getting back to it, it will be a ZVZ between Worthless Bot and Snowbot. So let's let me just load up the replay here. And we'll see how this one pans out. So we will have a match on Golden Wall, which always makes for interesting games because some bots don't handle the map very well. We'll see if either of these bots are one of them. I'm not sure if Snowbot has played on Golden Wall before. But with that said, it is the returning champ, Snowbot, at 3-0 right now as the red Zerg in the bottom right. And in the bottom left, it's the new challenger. It is Worthless Bot opening gas first. Interesting. I thought I had music set up. I always think I have music set up, and then for some reason I can never hear it when I go check the videos because I don't pay attention. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, it's there. It's just quiet. Okay, so what do we have going on? It looks like it's going to be a 15 hatch out of Snowbot. I did change interfaces, so I'm not sure where I'm looking for all the information. Let's bring up the production tab. I think this interface is a little bit better. It's probably something you're used to more from tournaments and whatnot, and obviously it hides the time, which I have a habit of leaving up and spoiling the results somewhat when you can see how long the game lasts. So pool to follow the gas geyser. And that does put Worthless Bot at 100 gas and 100 minerals at a pretty good timing to immediately go into speed. Meanwhile, a pretty greedy pool timing out of Snowbot, taking it at the probably about the latest time possible after a 15 hatch and probably 16 gas and then maybe a 17 pool, something along those lines. It does see the early pool timing out of Worthless Bot and gets, well, In the interface, you can't really tell if structures are upgrading or not, so he can't see that this is wiggling. So unfortunately, that's something that Blizzard did not provide to us in the API. With that said, a whole bunch of Zerglings crossing the map now. And more are on the way. Meanwhile, we got not much, just an Overlord coming out of Snowbot. There is no Queen. There's no Lings. This is not looking good for Snowbot. As greedy of an opener as it was, and he continued the greed beyond that, so you'll probably at least want to get the 6 Lings out. Okay, he's going to pull his workers. So he has a form of defense. Not a long-term form. Pulling back the weak ones. That's a nice little micro there. Oh, beautiful. Look at all those red drones. Now, that'll work for wave 1. Wave 2, he's going to have to actually need some legit Ling defense here. Got a lot of larvae available. Not much to spend now. I did get a queen of the natural. And he's going to be able to clean up this splash of Zerglings. Beautiful worker defense. Unfortunately, where are the resources going? We do have some Lings on the production tab and a second queen. I guess all these worker pulls are kind of hurting in terms of the resources, and the Lings are not stopping. 2 more arriving. We got 6 more on the way. Queen and Lings are out, so we got Queen and 3 Lings at this moment. 2 Queens and 3 Lings. And, like, he had the giant worker lead plus 2 bases, but is this going to work out to actually economic advantage when you're pulling workers so often? He's got 6 workers left at his main and only 0 at his natural now. Yeah, this is not looking good. Okay, maybe... Oh, that's not good either. Couple more Lings. He needs to keep these guys mining. He needs to keep these Zerglings back. No, this is not what you want to be doing right now. Okay. Yeah, so when you write generic code for worker defense, it's like, in my opinion, it usually hurts you more than it helps you, but obviously that first engagement was awesome for Snowbot. It kept him in the game. But yeah, he just kept pulling his workers and never really got an income going. I could have seen this working, right? The hatchery distracts him, and then the broodlings come out, and maybe he can kill some Zerglings. And if you're having economy during that time and pull up some Zerglings at home, you might be able to defend. In fact, even in pro play, it's pretty standard to sacrifice your natural hatchery. And for that reason, it's pretty standard to just ignore the natural hatchery and go into the main. But with that said, we are going to just fast forward this because we have reached the conclusion with the final spawning bull going down. Nice little quick victory out of Worthless Spot there. And I do remember Worthless Spot now. This is what he was known for. Pretty well executed in terms of build order, because he was able to qualify for a competitive tournament with the spots just by doing a basic 1-base Ling Rush. With that said, though, when he faced Micro Machine, he brought out a brand new Ravager Rush that no one was expecting. Everyone just knew Worthless Bot is like the 1-base Ling Rush bot. And yeah, this Ravager Rush almost beat Micro Machine. Had a couple of very, very competitive games. If you don't know, Micro Machine is the dude right at the top of the ladder with a crazy win percentage. That's actually lower than it typically is. Usually it's around 94%. So, yeah, so that ends the streak for Snowbot there. He will finish at 3-1, and Worthless Bot will continue on to face Blunty. So we'll hop into that one. Let's see what Blunty's up to here. So Blunty is written by Dr. Imphy, part of the Sharpened Edge series, and basically there's a Sharpie framework. Well, we'll see more from him. I actually already loaded the game, so let me just pop into that. But Sharpie Framework is a framework to make your life even easier if you use Python. It's built on top of the existing Python API and handles a lot of the grunt work for you, so you can spend more time on strategy rather than the basics. With that said, spying in the bottom left, we do have the challenger. It is a Blunty, the red Zerg. Meanwhile, in the top right, we have Worthless Bot. Looks like he's queuing up a very, very similar build. I expect to see that perfectly timed 100 minerals and gas for speed right away. Blunty is known to pull out some cheese of his own. He's a macro Zerg bot, but he likes to use like aggression to start off the game typically. Like make 6 Zerglings, see if he can mess up your expansion, and then kind of macro behind it. With that said, he did open 15 hatch, so unfortunately, I thought he might pick an aggressive build, which will work better against Worthless Bot, but pool first is what's going on. Doesn't look like he's taking an early gas, though, so you might be... Well, he's at 270 minerals. What's the plan here? He's not throwing down a pool either. Is this a 3-hatch opener? 340 minerals. Is this a broken bot? Okay, pool and gas. A little delayed, but there it goes. Now, in terms of opening builds, Snowbot had likely the worst one you could use, where he took about as late as a pool as possible, and then even when the pool finished, he didn't really rush out queens or Zerglings. In this case, the pool might actually be a little bit later. For some reason, he waited until about 350 minerals before throwing it down. No sign of saving larva either, so this could be a lot of trouble. Now, it could be the Worthless Bot uses the Sharpie framework, in which case we'll probably be seeing a similar worker defense out of Blunty, since they use the same framework. And the worker defense did give Snowbot a fighting chance. So let's see if that'll be the case here. Okay, so he does try to save the drones. I kind of like this response, actually. He's just letting the hatchery go down. I suspect that the broodlings may even get a kill or two. These Zerglings will probably attack the broodlings unless he's coded something special in his bot. Unfortunately, pulling his first 2 Zerglings down, which didn't do much, just injured a couple of Zerglings, which will slowly repair. Second 2-lings aren't his bag, so they will be fighting around the same time as the broodlings. He actually micros the broodlings. It wasn't good micro, it actually made them worse. But that's hilarious that someone actually took the time to think about microing broodlings. Which actually makes a lot of sense. Imagine individually microed broodlings when you're going broodlords. So you can attack a target, but then the broodlings kind of, if they're smart, go after good things. So Blunty's about to go down, and we'll see what pops out of these eggs. But he's about to lose all of his workers, and those eggs are not finishing quick enough. And yeah, it's actually drones popping out of most of them. 2-lings and some drones. Quick layer. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's a thing. Regainling rush, apparently. It's tough. I mean, you try to write your bot generically, right? So you got your build order you want to stick to. When you lose workers, you want to replace them. You know, when you're dying to Zerglings, you want to make Zerglings of your own. And like all these things kind of conflict with each other. Like what generic code are you using in this particular case? Let's see if this is a hatchery that dies or a layer that dies. Looks like it's going to be a hatchery that dies. Couple more drones on the way. Let's go ahead and speed this boy up. And another quick one for Worthless Bot. Knocking them off quickly. So a quick 2-0. And I have fallen behind a little bit on my schedule, so I appreciate the the quick games. So, I mean, we want to see some good games in the series, obviously, but I have a few days left to get through these final like 30 bots. So I don't mind this at all either. Let's bring this up again. So where are we? Worthless Bot has defeated Snowbot, followed by Blunty, and now another ZVZ going to be taking on Durg. So let's see what we got on Durg here. So Durg is another one of these Durg bots. It looks really strong to me, at least when he plays my bot. So he feels like a top 10 bot, but he must be missing some aspects to him, and that's why he's still down around number 30. But in many ways, it's a very strong bot. So it does use the Sharpie framework with good economy and bad unit composition. I shall fight until the bitter end. All right, there you go. So this one is by Thalmath and another Python bot. So let's check her out. Worthless Bot versus Durg. So Durg is about 29 ELO ahead of Worthless Bot. That doesn't always mean much. Sometimes you just have bad matchups. You might be 300 ELO versus ahead of a certain bot, but he just does that one thing well that's a weakness to yourself. Durg the Zerg is back. Version 0.8.3 GLHF. So speaking of Durg, he is the blue Zerg spawning in the top right corner. No need to move that Overlord. And in the bottom left, I assume we're going to see the same build. We've got the same matchup, same bot. It is the cheesy red Zerg. It is Worthless Bot. Yes, again going for that gas pool timing. And Durg is going for a drone scout. Not something you see much anymore in human play, but always a safe idea for bots. Now, I'm not sure, I've probably said this before, but I don't really know how much information a typical bot author collects with this. Maybe they just do it because they see pros do it. But maybe they come in and they're really after everything. You know, they come in, they're counting the workers, seeing if one's missing, you know, checking the pool timing, seeing how much gas is remaining in this extractor to get an idea of the gas timing. Certainly checking to see whether there's an expansion or not is important. So the Ling production has begun. Let's see if the drone sticks around in time to see the Zerglings pop. No, it looks like he's just going to leave momentarily. Well, let's see what happens when he gets the natural. He might come back. No, just checking around to other bases. Meanwhile, on his side of the map, the Durg does have a... It's hard to tell. I think it was expansion into a quick pool and... spawning, quick refinery and spawning pool. Extractor and spawning pool. So unfortunately this guy did not catch sight of the Zerglings. Like, he knows his opponent did not expand. So Zerglings and a couple Overlords. Let's get that production tab up. That'd probably be an easy way to check it. So he's not going to have speed, but 2 Queens and 4 Lings is pretty good. Throwing down a spine, I like that response as well. I don't expect that it'll get up. And it looks like it was, he changed his mind when he saw that. Going to have to pull the workers here. Not as good about saving his workers. In fact, his worker count is pretty crushed at the moment. But we do have 2 Queens about to pop, right? I like that focus fire. It keeps focusing the red Zergling. Unfortunately, was not able to get much mining down there, and in fact, he's spending money on Zergling speed and more drones. So again, like conflicting code. wants to get to a certain worker count, prioritizing that even though he's dying. And I think we got another quick one. In fact, going into Rotorn as well. Zerg probably takes the most effort to survive versus cheese, at least for bots. It's not as simple as like, you know, just creating a wall or throwing down a bunker. You have to make the right amount of units to survive. And where Zerg can pump out units like nothing else, it does require, you know, scouting and decision making. That's not as simple as just like a hard-coded build order. So I think that's part of the reason why we may not see as many Zerg bots as highly ranked. The potential is certainly there. But yeah, losing the early game cheese can take quite a lot of effort to get past that. And with so many bots on the ladder being cheesy, it's almost a prerequisite that you need to get that done well. All right, so that is 3-0 now. Worthless bot over Snowbot, Blunty, and Durg. Right, yeah, so I'm going for... Can he be the second bot to surpass the 3-0 rank? We will find out. He'll be going up against Tier Z. So Tier is a extremely veteran author. Maybe like one of the first authors in the SC2. In fact, he even dates back to Starcraft1 botting scene. So, which is still healthy, by the way. If you want to see Brew War bots, they're out there. I think there is a fairly popular stream where Artosis was playing a bunch of those bots. With that said, Tyr is mostly known for his Protoss, and secondly, probably his random, but he's a man of many builds. So he has some insane amount of builds, like 60 builds per race or something like that. I'm not sure how good they are or how active they are, but they exist. So you never know what you'll get out of Tyr, especially in tournaments. He saves some of the cool stuff for tournaments, keeps it secret. And he is a previous tournament champion. However, not with the Zerg. So what am I doing here? I'm trying to load up the next game. But with that said, I mean, Tier Z is 1680 ELO, which is a solid, 30 ELO, higher than Worthless Bot. Let's see how he can handle the cheese. All right, so we'll be on Everdream as we wait for the replay to load into ops. There we go. And thanks to Fascist Turtle with a $10 donation. I hadn't even been streaming. It must have been like a between stream donation. That's awesome. Thanks a lot, man. All right, so we have the GLHF from Tier, but first let's introduce Worthless Bot with the build we are all familiar with now as a red Zerg in the top right. Meanwhile, our challenger in the bottom left, throwing down an early pool. Okay, this is already a change after our previous CVZs. It is the blue Zerg. It is Tier Z. Now, whatever build he does, I suspect won't be as crisp as this one that Worthless Bot is doing. Just seems to have the timing right. Even like the way he put workers into this extractor, he sent them just at the right time where they arrive as the spot becomes available. He didn't just like grab 3 and put them all on the extractor. So just subtle efficiencies like that. I mean, if you're going to have a bot do like one simple thing, you might as well have a bot do it perfectly. Speaking of which, Scarlet has made a 4-gate bot, which does a perfectly executed 4-gate, and it's actually better than perfect as she's used a micro to mine resources faster than what they do if you just let them go normally. So her brand new bots, and if you have a brand new bot that even stays even on the ladder, that's super impressive. Like if you can stay around rank 35, her brand new bot skyrocketed right up to number 2 on the ladder. So she will be in the official Gauntlet showcase of the top 8 that's going to be produced by ES Champ. that will be in the description below. It's already a scheduled link, so you can go ahead and click on that and click the remind me button, and it'll let you know when it goes live. My bot will be competing in that as well. The unbeatable end boss Micro Machine will be in there, who's far and away the best bot, but that also means he's far and away the bot that everyone's gunning for, right? If you're going to make like a snipe build, you're not making it for any other bot but Micro Machine. So nice little scout there out of tier, and he was able to throw down 2 spines to deal with this. Not sure if those was, yeah, it was probably a scout, right? Maybe not. He might have built it blind. Maybe I'll try to push into roaches. I'm not sure if this was planned or not, but it's actually kind of a pretty good sim city. It's hard to get surface area on the spines, and then the queens are just stuffed in between the spines and the spawning pool. And this trickle of zerglings, like, this is great when it's reinforcing the existing zerglings that are crushing the opponent's base. But when there's nothing to reinforce, then they're just coming in 2 at a time. They're doing absolutely nothing. And as cool as it is to see a 1 base zergling all in every game, I think it might be coming to an end. And once again, I think we have another bot who cannot reach that elusive 4-0. So far, it's only been Terran002 who's been able to do it, going up to 6-0 before finally losing. But that said, we are seeing a second gas. We're seeing an expansion from a worthless bot. But all of it's irrelevant because he's not making any drones. So why? All the second gas did was lower your mineral income even further. Same thing with the second hatchery. Yeah, he's got the queen for injects. Again, he can't afford non-stop link production anyhow. And this roach numbers are getting up there. He's up to 4 roaches, 3 queens, a few zerglings. I mean, I suppose if he stays on the defense, a 3rd spine as well. I suppose if he stays on the defense and worthless bots starts droning, this could turn around, because it is 2 hatcheries versus 1. And that's not insignificant. And who knows what the go order is. Like, what causes the go order for tier Z? When does he decide it's time to move across the map? I'm not sure. Now, these rules change depending on the tournament and whatnot, but on the ladder, you do know who you're playing against. So there's a chance that this is specifically done because he knows he's playing worthless bot. I think, again, bot authors are usually looking for generic answers to generic problems. You don't want to hard code things against your opponent. But even though most bots don't hardcode things, some bots do hardcode based on data. Like, when I go hatch first, I always lose against this guy. But when I go pool first, I always win. So I'll just go pool first. Like something like that. Yeah, so why did I bring this up? I don't even remember. Yeah, so there is a chance that maybe Tier Z knows that this worthless bot will just keep funneling in zergling, so there's no reason to actually move out. You can just sit back and absorb and drain him, dry him out of resources. With that said, he is teching up, so Tier is going up to Lair, which just finished. He's getting his +1 attack on his roaches, which could be an upgrade timing attack is certainly a good reason to attack. You do not know what your opponent's upgrades are, so you can't really tell if you're ahead in upgrades, but you can certainly attack when your upgrades hit a certain point. So we are up to 15 roaches. Maybe that was the plan, get to 15 roaches, then you can expand. Creep spread is moving out a little bit, leaving 1 queen at home somewhere. There she is. And the other 2 at the natural. Maybe this one's for injects and this one's for creep spread. And I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up because I'm not seeing any workers at a worthless spot. I don't think the transition is real. This was just a fake transition. So it's basically just a matter of when tier decides enough is enough. You can tell that there's a certain composition he wants to get to. He probably deviated from his plan to get up the defenses once he scouted that he was getting all in. But other than that one deviation, he's like sticking to the plan. You know, this is the composition I want. I want to get this many roaches, then I want to get ravagers. Maybe I'm going to mix in hydras, and then when I reach a certain supply count, I'll attack him. Maybe something along those lines. And yeah, let's just put this right up to 8x. I think the writing's on the wall. As long as tier can finish the game without crashing. So I think Worthless Spot probably just started coding a transition, right? Like, he knows things aren't going well, so he throws down an expansion. He takes another gas. These are ingredients that could be involved in a transition. But the rest of it wasn't there. Oh, as we speak, though, that time has come to say goodbye to our red brother. Goodbye, Worthless Spot. Your bio will live on in history. So 31 minutes, which I guess is not a long video in terms of the way I've been doing these videos lately. But I think with the end of Worthless Spot's run and a new king on the hill of Tier Z who looked quite impressive, probably the first time we've seen a strong response to a one base all-in. I said that can be a difficulty for Zerg in particular, and now we have a Zerg bot who actually came up with a response that's quite decent. Yeah, so we got a new King of the Hill who will be moving on in our next video. So stay tuned for that. And with that, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good one. Wrong key.